Hello, world. It is I, he is him, not so slim with the tilted brim. My name is Ryan, aka Crownson's Corner. This is the Healing Chefs Podcast. And we are all the Healing Chefs, just real quick, is all about chef is a leader. There's cooks, but then there's the chef. But anybody that's on this program, I believe, in my heart, they are a chef in their own, a leader in their own right. So today's guest, today's chef, is John, aka Dankonomics, Project Packs, and so much more.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Just trying to get this lit. He brought us some flour and stuff. You said this is like
that is a Iesha.
Yeah,
from our R&D room.
Ooh, R&D.
Which is a flavor pack crossed with Moonbow from Archive Seeds.
Crazy. And what are you smoking on?
I am smoking on some 1111 right now from Wizard Trees.
Wizard Trees.
This will be our first batch, dropping January 5th.
January 5th. All right. So if you could, before we jump into everything, if you could explain yourself. Explain yourself. If you could introduce the watchers, listeners to who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump into everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, my name is John, born and raised here in Arizona. Joined the cannabis industry about 5 years ago, and just been grinding ever since.
That's what's up. And you're with the Project Packs, and has underneath that is made for smokers, Blueprint.
Wizardry. So we got Blueprint, Made, Doja, Preferred, Wizard, Green Dog, and Packwoods.
Green Dog, I didn't see that one.
Yep, Green Dog, another grow from Cali.
Nice. Now, I have had some of the Doja. I had the RS11 from Doja and Cali from back in the day, so that was fire. But I'm glad, and shout out to everyone at Project Packs, because you guys are bringing some more heat to the valley. So we thank you very, very much for that. Sir. Some people like mids. Sometimes I do, not a lot of times, but
try not to. Yeah.
But no mids here. So we'll go ahead and jump into our first segment. First segment is Cannabis Journey. Cannabis Journey is all about how you found cannabis yourself, and where you're at with it now.
Yeah. So
real quick. Yeah, my bad. So it's a little 10-second thing, but yeah, how did you when did you first start smoking, and then what was it and stuff like that?
Yeah, so of course it was brick weed back in probably 2001-ish was my first time. I think I was 15, 16, started smoking daily when I was about 17. Like I said, brick weed for years. Finally found the good stuff when I could afford it. Met the right people, had the right connections, and been trying to smoke nothing but top shelves ever since.
Awesome. And so, like when you found it, did you just when you're 15? Did you just was there any stoppage, or did you just start and just
I was a jock and all about good grades for many years, and then one night, just hanging out with a good friend of mine, and we were just bored out of our minds. I said, "Hey man, let's get a bag of weed." He's like, "Yeah, right." So we go and did some shady back alley deal for a 20 bag, nice. Which of course was a quad back then.
Oh,
which brick weed, of course, and we probably got ripped off for it too. So, but went and smoked it out of a can, got super high, went back to my apartment. Ate a bunch of munchies all night, watched some funny movies, and had a great time. Been in love ever since.
And that's what we love to hear.
Yeah.
when you find it and stuff like that, because damn sure back in the day, there was a lot of brick, and we talked about it a lot on here with, getting the trays so you could tilt it up and not have to pick out all the seeds.
Yeah. You get a business card or something like that. You put the weed all the way to the top of the tray. You tilt it up, let all the seeds and the stems fall down the tray. I've been there a million times.
Yeah, because you have a few moments when when you're coming up, you're either having to do it yourself or you really like have to make someone who isn't paying for it to do this stuff,
right?
And even they get tired of it.
Yep.
So shout out to all those brick weed smokers and all the people that brought us the brick weed, because if not for that, we wouldn't have anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy too, because it used to get us super high. And, I could probably stop smoking for 10 years and not get as high as I used to when I was smoking that stuff a long time ago.
That's weird. What do you think that is? Do you think it's a watering down of genetics, or do you think it's our tolerances going up?
I think it's probably a tolerance thing, but I'd imagine when you first start smoking, if it's never, been in your body or your brain before, I'd imagine it's a little different. But then after a while, you get used to it, and experience just isn't the same.
You know what? As you're talking about that, I had a moment yesterday when I was at home and I was smoking, and I didn't have my TV on or anything. Usually, because you have something like grabbing your attention. I'm either playing video games or the TV's on, some YouTube videos on or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, and I was super baked, and I'm like, just like my mind starts going off in different places. I'm like, oh yeah. That's what this stuff does.
Yep.
Like, just because you like smoking and playing Call of Duty doesn't mean that that's the only, like, when you turn off the noise and stuff, the distractions, that's when you really start getting the experience.
Man. When you're by yourself, especially right after smoking a fatty or taking a fat dab, it's like really hits you. That's why I'm more of a social smoker. I prefer to smoke and get real lit when I can have conversations with people or keep my mind on other things. Because otherwise I start thinking about, I'll go home and get real high and I'm like, oh crap, did I leave that reservoir running? Is there a flood going at the grow right now? And start freaking out.
I was doing that last night with my cat got a little eye infection, and I'm like, what did I do? Okay.
Right.
So I was going around like making sure everything was clean and everything else. But yeah, I was like, oh, you're high, dog.
Yeah, you're high. Just chill. Everything's
chill.
fine.
Your paranoia is on 10 right now. Just sit down. Sit on your hands, dog. Yeah. And by the way, she's doing great. But yeah, this is crazy, the different things with cannabis and whatnot. And we get so distracted nowadays. I'm glad I can have those times though when I can like smoke and like change my perspective, because that's what life's all about, is perspective.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. That is my favorite thing about weed is, I don't smoke nearly as much as I used to because I have kids and a lot of big responsibilities in my life now, so I try not to get too high. But when I do, I can really reflect on the things that are going on in my life and help me get a better understanding of what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah, like they said, like cannabis like shows you to yourself, but like it also like helps you clear your mind of societal like hang-ups and stuff, and it makes you like change your perspective. Like, I don't know how many times as a chef where I didn't have the right tools to get the job done, or in the army that I didn't have the tools to get the job done, and I'm like, I got to figure it out.
Right.
And all it is like changing that angle of perspective.
Yep,
but yeah, absolutely dope. Also smoking this right here is absolute fire.
Thank you.
It's kind of got a velvety, mouthfeel. Definitely got the like fruit terps. I'm getting a little bit more of a.
It's got a little bit of Skittles runcy flavor to it.
Is that berry? Is that candy like RS11 kind of?
Yep.
Kind of a vibe. Excuse me.
Yeah,
trying to breathe through smoke.
A lot of stuff is crossed with either runts or Gelato Z.
Yeah,
and that
it's got that Skittles but it's more than that. It's that's not how to swallow your saliva. But no, this I just feel like with this and like all the like the blueprint strains and stuff like that, it just feels luxurious when you're smoking it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that terp is, and I don't want to like say like just come out there and be like some random velvet terp.
Right,
But
right. It's definitely mouth coating. It has some, gelato flavor to it, which I'm not a huge gelato fan, but at the same time, just about everything nowadays has some gelato in it. So, I mean, either get with the program or you're not going to have many other options at that point.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm very blessed to be at Project PAX and be able to try all these new flavors and grow all these new flavors. Because been smoking for 20 years. First time started growing was 20 years ago. So the stuff that we're growing right now is like stuff that dreams are made of, like Wizard Trees, Blueprint, Preferred, like the cuts we've been blessed with and been lucky enough to grow. We are just very fortunate and grateful every day I step in the garden.
Dope. And we love that. Also, if you didn't know and you want to know like how good the blueprint or made or any like that stuff, the quality that's coming from Project PAX, I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's kind of controversial, but the first thing that I tried from them was the Blue Dream.
Yep. From Made.
Okay, from Made. Okay. The reason I did that is because it is going to tell me what you're doing from the get go. Like, am I going to be a part of this? Am I going to want to be a part of this or whatnot? And because if you don't know, so many people, especially out in Arizona, were growing Blue Dream and just watering down the genetics, and it became like a couple of the strains became I swear it just tasted and smelled like hay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably curing. And there's all sorts of problems for that. But I wanted to be like, hey, all right. So you guys are saying like you're made for smokers and all this other stuff. What is it? Shit. What is it? So I definitely, like I told you earlier, I popped that jar. Yep. And immediately hit with blueberry. I'm like, blueberry is my number one strain.
Same.
DJ Short favorite. Blueberry.
Yep.
Like if you have it, give it to me.
Right. Like, dude, I've been searching for a legit blueberry cut for years, and I'm sure I probably haven't looked hard enough, but just something about it takes me back to like 2002, I think was the first time I tried blueberry, and it was like legit blueberry pancakes. That was like my first experience with chronic, or what we called back then was Kind Bud. KB, Kibbles and Bits, right?
Bro. Kind Bud, bro, come on. Like I said that a couple. Yeah.
Little popcorn nugs. You'd lucky if you get one full nug,
Doing knife hits.
Oh, absolutely. Knife hits with the jar all day.
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing it all. Gravity bongs with 1 gallon jugs. Like so many funny things we were doing back then. And now we're so spoiled. We smoke, out of these amazing glass pieces and these fat doinks that shout out to my guy Jay for rolling up a bunch of doinks for me.
Oh yeah, was that Canna?
AZ
Canna Selection. Yeah, shout out.
Yep.
Love him.
Yep.
Yeah, dude's always on there. Yep. Especially when I got my little cat on there. But yeah, I love that dude. Big shout out to Leafers, Chiefers, all them.
Yeah.
Big shout out to all them.
Yeah, they've used dudes. Some of our material for some of their pre-rolls, actually. Yeah. Pretty solid. They ran with the nitro fumes and a few other flavors as well.
Nice, dog. Yeah, no, I love them, and they're putting on for the culture in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
With our brand, like the branded stuff that's actually from where we came, like graffiti and whatnot and that stuff. So awesome, and I appreciate you sharing that with us with the with the Kind Buds and whatnot.
Yeah, but, of course.
I'll go ahead and jump on. And if you guys can't tell, this weed's getting me super high. Like I'm trying to scratch my face.
And that's not even one of the strongest ones we got either.
See, so there it is. I'm trying to scratch my face and I hit the mic and I don't even realize the mic was there. So, I mean, this is a visual and audio representation of how high that you can get.
Yeah, that's fairly fresh weed, but I brought that in particular because to me that's a smoke. So I was hoping we wouldn't get too high from it, but we'll see what happens.
I'm on a different wavelength regardless. I come here high, I'm gonna leave here high.
Hell yeah.
But we're gonna have a good time.
I see you got some Tropicana cookies there.
Oh yeah. So this is shout out to the homie Dab and Ricky. Him and I'll go over a little bit more. But him and I did a little collab on some actual cookies that have rosin in them and stuff like that for the holidays and stuff. So if you're looking for, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is from the homemade Tropicana cookies, some BHO. I got a zip from him, and me and the homies been smoking on this, and it absolutely slaps.
Yeah, it smells phenomenal. As soon as I cracked that jar, I was impressed. That's legit Tropicana cookies right there.
This guy's he's running it. He's running it really well. And also, if you haven't seen with Dab and Ricky lately, unfortunately, he did have a PM problem recently. But he also showed you that he threw it all in a fucking trash bag and then threw it in the fucking dumpster.
I've thrown rooms away.
There you go. Fucking
before.
Thank you.
Entire 28 light rooms went straight to the trash can.
Appreciate it, because I know there's the dip and dried technique too.
Absolutely.
And thank God.
There's all kinds of shady stuff going on out there, but just not myself, but as Projects Packs as a whole, we pride ourselves in putting out good quality product. We have 2 QC managers that are constantly looking through the nugs to make sure everything is good and clean. We do our best to not let anything ever slip through, and I feel like we're doing a pretty good job at it so far. So
absolutely. And sorry, I just make sure to turn this off because I'm not professional, I guess. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the next segment, which is Trip Tales. Trip Tales is all about psychedelics, our experiences with them, mine or yours, or in a general way of explaining different types of psychedelics and whatnot. But it's up to you what you want to talk about. Do you have any psychedelic experiences you would like to share?
Not many, but just shrooms. That's pretty much all I've done. Haven't done it in a while just because I got kids now and just past that point in my life pretty much. But
there's a time and place.
Right? I've had a couple good trips and I've had a couple really bad ones. Probably, your typical visuals, colors are very vibrant type of trip, but then also had a trip one time where I couldn't stop crying. I was just like nonstop 6 hours for no good reason either. I just couldn't stop crying. I'd laugh for about 30 seconds and then cry for about 10 minutes straight. I had a babysitter watching me all night. Not a good trip. But out of the probably 20 trips or so that I've done, that was the only bad one. The other times, always had very good experiences learning, teaching me about myself. So
nice. That's rough. I've always thought for myself and my experience, I can only speak from my experience, right? Any bad or not like horrible trip or anything, I at least with it became a lesson. To where at at one point in time, and it'll help with the mental health part, but I had a trip, and I first off, I used a different method of, I made like shroom ice cream, and I put way too much in, and I had blue penis envy, the albino, the apes and stuff. I put those in there, and I put an eighth in there, and I let it set. I forgot, and then I ate it, and I put myself in a way, and I was like, I started tripping as what you would consider a bad trip, or what I call a challenging trip, and I started having visions of like psych ward and shit like that, and I'm like, oh no. So I got real scared and did the whole curl up into a ball kind of a thing and everything, and just like, I'm like, this is just a drug, it'll wear off. It's just a drug, it'll wear off. Fast forward a couple months later, like 5 months later or whatever, I had to check myself into a psych ward.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, maybe I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, I see you, universe. So I mean, sometimes, like, anytime that, I think that was some sort of subconscious in myself knowing like, hey, you need to go do this right now. But I didn't understand it, because I feel like the universe also shows us things and we have to interpret them, and sometimes we don't interpret them until we're already past them.
Right.
But did you get anything from the bad trip, or just from the crying?
This
or
was
anything?
at a point in my life where I really was just trying to get high. It wasn't any type of soul searching or anything like that for me. I was just at a point where I was just trying all kinds of stuff, partying all the time. So I was looking for like the visual giggly high.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was searching for.
Okay.
And so as long as I was in a good place in my life, when I did the shrooms, it would typically be a good experience.
Yeah.
So, and I've tried to follow that. It's been probably like 3 or 4 years since I've done them, but my wife and I split like maybe 1.5 grams, and had a very good trip, giggling, laughing, watching funny cartoons and stuff like that. But the trip went away, but I could still feel the effects of it, right?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go away. And time was just going by very, very slow. And I'm just like, all right, it's time to go to sleep now. So, get a little assistance from the weed, and that put me down.
Well, good. And I'm thank you for sharing that with me, because again, all I can ever speak of is from my experience, and from mine I've learned lessons, but I guess there has to be other people like yourself that just like there was nothing to glean from that. Like I was just trying to get high and stuff. So yeah, I've been there too. But then I've also been on another part where I've tried to I want to talk about this real quick, is like I've used psychedelics to help, but there's also misuse, overuse. I got into a point where I even had extra ketamine therapies and whatnot. Excuse me. Different sessions, and then I'm like, this is not taking me to the same place that it used to, because I'm not in the same place that I used to be in.
Right.
So I kind of got the things that I needed from it, and then I started feeling like I was just getting high, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
we're done with this. We got to move on to like real therapy and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so I just suggest to everybody, just because something works for you at one point in time doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life. Just take things step by step, and like yourself, you get to a certain point and that may not be something that you need in your life anymore.
Yeah.
So that's
which you get to that point where you might need to just take a break from whatever that is that you're looking for as well, and just focus on day-to-day life. And then, if you feel like you're trailing off, maybe try it again and see if it gets you where you need to be.
Absolutely. And people take tolerance breaks and shit like that all the time. It's sometimes you need to look inside and see if it's the substance or it's you.
Oh yeah, and it can be a combination of both. If I don't smoke every day like I used to, so if I go a few days, I can get a little irritable and things like that, and I don't notice it until I finally do smoke and I realize maybe I was being an asshole.
Yeah. I've been there. I'm sure there's plenty of people that know me that are like, that are going crazy after me just saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, even like I'm a little more in tune with my body and stuff like that, which helps my mental health. And we'll go ahead here in a minute or a second and go ahead and go into the next segment. But my body responds to like with cannabis. When you smell something that you like or whatever, your body kind of pulls you towards it, just like food. When you smell food, what your body's like, and kind of like, even like that cartoony, like kind of like your feet are dragging going towards it.
Right.
Same with cannabis, same with everything else. Like your body talks, just listen. With weed, maybe like Toucan saying, follow your nose.
Yep.
But yeah, I just listen nowadays more than I talk, other than on here. But awesome. And anything else you want to throw in there for the psychedelics?
No, I think it's getting to a point where it's becoming a lot more common. Ketamine, mushrooms, DMT. I think that's great. Some people might benefit from that very well. People go down to South America and Mexico for, ayahuasca trips and all kinds of different things to get away from alcohol or other substance abuse. I think it's a great thing, and I hope with legality comes more professionalism on that side of things, to where it's being done in a safe environment. You can go stay at a nice resort and do a trip of some kind and make sure you're safe and sound, and really get the most of the experience.
Yeah. Having, like you said, like a babysitter or someone there, or even like for myself doing the ketamine treatments, I had like a therapist there to be able to like talk about shit and everything. So
yeah,
after a certain point in time, but like,
yeah,
like when it first is going, there's like, it's weird.
I've never done that one.
It's like, I'm gonna tell you, like, have you ever like had a surgery or dentist work or
I've been
anything?
in good health, luckily, so I have not.
Okay, you've never been put out for dental work or anything?
Nope.
Oh, good lord, dog, you're fresh. This shit had hit like a god. This shit would ring your fucking bell and a half. What this is? Ooh. Okay, how to explain it anymore? If you go on YouTube later,
Yep.
check out like surreal videos, and that's what it feels like for the most part.
Gotcha.
Like so what it's doing is kind of removing you. It's
Yep.
like a psychedelic kind of a way that it kind of removes you from reality and makes it kind of just surreal and vague and stuff, and you're kind of looking going, oh, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's a one way of explaining it.
I've heard great things about it. I've heard people had a lot of good experiences. I'm sure not everybody does, but yeah, I'm sure it's very beneficial.
Right. Like for me, being a veteran with PTSD and being an angry, reactive person, it literally 180.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Dope. Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go to this little break and then come back with mental health as well.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Iesha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
And we're back. And we'll go ahead and jump into mental health as well. All right, so mental health as well is all about, you know, our struggles at any time with mental health. Do you have any thing that you would like to share about mental health? Anything that any coping skills that maybe someone could use or something like that?
Not from any personal experiences, but just I think everybody out there needs to know that we're all there for them when they're going through tough times. You ever need someone to lean on? There's somebody out there willing to talk to you, and you can't just keep things held in. You got to get it off your chest.
Yeah, because the shit comes out. Let me tell you. Me being a veteran with PTSD and stuff, I used to be the guy who broke controllers and shit like that, like real petty childish shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting angry, not being able to control things around me, and just be like, throwing tantrums. But you know, now I mean, like I said before, the ketamine got that real reactive person. I got to sit that person down in my head and be like, look, man, we don't need any of that, but you know, we have a dark side and a light side, and we have to respect those things in both, right? So I sat down and had a conversation with myself to where I hear that person. I'm like, okay, dog, okay, you can keep yelling back there, but we're not doing any of that shit up here, because what I started noticing is the world is a mirror, is a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
and once you're yelling at someone, you're kind of yelling at yourself.
Right.
So,
right.
Taking accountability for what I've done and everything, I've turned all that around. And a lot of my coping mechanisms nowadays, I don't know if anybody else does this stuff, and I was talking to a few people, is we all have like different things. I myself, once things are going a little crazy, I start counting because I can control that.
Right.
Math makes sense to me, and not even just counting to 10, but doing math and stuff will calm me down. You ever have anything like, if you're ever having like do you have anxiety?
Not so much anymore. I was definitely going through a time in my life when I was having a lot of panic attacks and anxiety just due to life in general. And, work especially in this industry can be very stressful. Mm-hmm. Luckily I'm not I'm past that point now where I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. So, it's my anxiety as far as my career has gone down drastically. For some of the other companies that I worked before, I had a lot of anxiety about my future and how things were going to go. And luckily I'm at a good point now.
Well, that's awesome, man. And thank you for sharing that, because not everyone like sharing all the mental health and stuff like that, because for the most part, even especially in the Army, showing any being vulnerable at all is kind of like looked down upon, and like especially as a man,
Yep.
we aren't worth anything unless we can produce. That's just kind of how society looks at it right now. So that's a big weight to be to carry and stuff like that. So men's mental health is a big thing, something to think about. And there's different ways with the anxiety to handle it and shit.
Yeah,
one of them's right here.
Yep, that's the best one. Yeah. Just depending on what you're smoking, unless you're smoking some OG, and then it's going to make you even more anxious.
Yeah. And what it provides is that thing that we were talking about earlier, perspective.
Absolutely.
Because like we were talking, you can get mad and everything. You go and smoke that joint, or sit down, take that dab and stuff, and go, I was a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
It
gives you that perspective to look back and realize that you were probably being a little impatient with whatever it was you were so upset about, and not looking at the bigger picture and what's really going on. And then, take a few puffs, you can look back and realize what you were doing.
Yeah. So there's that. I do counting, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Whoever's watching this, listening to this, check that shit out. There's different things that you can find online too, but like try things. Like I know I've talked to a lot of people lately. That's why I'm saying this, is that they're stuck and they're depressed and they don't know what to do. And I'm like, do something, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's hard. But like find like, just for the one thing that you can do, for me, is when I'm having those really hard times and it seems simple, is just find something that makes you happy. Like if it's a video game, who cares? If it's walk or whatever the hell it is, there's something that nobody likes, who gives a shit? No, they're not there when you're doing it anyway. Right. Just do it and like make yourself happy again. And then like, okay, then go try to tackle that shit. I don't know. I'm just trying to give some people some different like coping mechanisms and stuff that, because I never really had any, right? And no one ever said anything about them.
Yeah, golf is a great outlet for me. I go out on a golf course on a nice day, 4 or 5 hours. That's all I'm thinking about. Take my mind off of everything else. Relieves all my stress for the day. That's a great one for me. Just anything outdoors more than just a particular sport. Just being outdoors, getting some sun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel different mentally when I'm just staying inside. Like I this whole week I've been kind of lazy and stuff after I just moved, and I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of down. I'm like, because you're not doing anything. Get up and go outside. And I started doing stuff and working, and then I'm like, oh yeah. This is why I like being out of the building.
Yeah, I mean, we're just, as humans in general, we like to stay busy and have a purpose from day to day, and prevents boredom. I mean, that's why you see retired people working at grocery stores. It's because they don't want to be sitting at home all day doing nothing. They want to be out doing something productive.
I just realized that because part of what I got my 100% disability and everything, so I have money coming in and I don't have to work that hard and all that kind of stuff. So I was sitting there. I'm like, this is what retired people go through.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with all this time? I'm like, I need to go to work or something. I'm like, you know what? We're going to start working out again. We're going to get a routine going, get a little something going, because you got to find something to do, because it's just.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was on unemployment back in the day, it'd be nice to have that government money coming in, but first of all, it's not nearly enough to survive off of. But also, you get bored pretty quick.
Real quick.
It sucks not working.
Yeah.
You want to feel productive and making sure you're, being a good productive member of society. Sitting at home doing nothing all the time, what good is that going to do you?
It does nothing. I found out this week. I was like, I'm just going to chill and do this. And I'm like, I'm getting sadder.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's not helping your situation.
Not at all. So once I started working and doing stuff again, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is it. So what's just going to happen is I'm going to start working out. There's going to be a lot more content coming out. So I have more time now to actually focus on making clips and whatnot and stuff.
Right.
So, that's another thing. Again, keeping busy, finding stuff to do, finding your purpose or whatever, what makes you happy, whether it's working with weed, it's doing this podcast and stuff, talking to people and everything. I don't know. Find something that you like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very blessed to be working in the garden every day. Just more specifically, been even more involved with the garden, and just working with the plants on a day-to-day basis is my form of therapy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm getting paid to be there at the same time, so it's a win-win situation.
Dope.
I'm very blessed to be doing what I'm doing for a living.
Oh yeah, awesome. So we'll just go ahead and jump into that last segment, which is all about promo, plug talk.
Absolutely.
Sorry, everybody. I was just laughing because I was like, have I been coherent?
We'll find out when we go back and watch this.
Yeah, that's why we're going to make clips.
Yeah.
It makes me look smarter. So promo talk. Ryan talking take 2. Plug talk is all about promo and stuff. Obviously, you said, and I kind of remember now, on the 5th is when Wizard Trees will be dropping.
Yep. Wizard Trees and Preferred Gardens will be coming out first in January.
Woo.
Lots of fire batches coming out of there too. So
nice. Where are is it all Cali or?
So all the brands that we work with, yes, they're all from California. We, like I said, I mentioned the 7 brands I believe we're working for. Or working with, I should say. I have all these brands' phone numbers. I can reach out to them for any type of garden guidance that we might need. So we have a real relationship with these brands.
Nice.
We're not just growing for them in that type of sense. I have their phone numbers if I want to know if there's a particular way they want me to water a strain, or what type of light intensity. Do they top their plants? Do they not top them? Do they veg slow? There's just all these little things that we get dialed in with them. So it really... we're trying to mimic the product that they have in Cali.
Dope. So they're basically creating SOPs for strains and shit?
Well, not very particular ones. We do everything from strain to strain, which we have 50 of, by the way. We have about 50 or 60 strains in the facility.
Yeah.
Most of those can be grown the same way, same environment, same irrigation strategy, but you have a few one-offs that you might have to tend a little bit more to. Maybe it likes to not be watered as heavy. Maybe it likes to stay wet throughout the day. So there's all these little variables. So most of the things we do the same way, but a few are just a little different.
Dope. I like that. Thank you for sharing that with us, because it's good to know where it all comes from. Because people always, are in the Reddit or in the, always it's white labeling and it's not even, you know what I mean? Whatever tough shit they say from the backside of a keyboard. But
right. I mean, and here's the thing, Jordan, he is the owner of Blueprint.
yeah,
He is our head cultivator and operations manager on the side of all of the garden. And we also work with Tim. They're both from Blueprint. We are not just doing our own thing over here. We
right.
work very closely with them. They are at the facility every other week. Somebody's there
Sick.
working with us, making sure we're following all the SOPs.
Hell yeah.
You know, one thing we already had in line, though, before we started working as Project Packs is formerly known as 48 Farms. We were already very focused on quality.
Yeah.
That was all we cared about. If you're focused on yields, then you're messing up already. Just worry about getting the best product out that you can.
Right.
And then, you know, continue to move forward. And luckily, that's what Jordan and Tim and everybody else at Project Packs, that's our main focus, is putting out good quality, smokable flower that tastes good, smells good. Like, that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And we thank you for that because we don't want bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it nicer. I mean, you know, there's a price point for everybody. But I'll drink Fiji water and, you know, and like go a little lighter on some other thing that I need to buy or something because I care what goes into my body.
Yeah, I mean, you get what you pay for.
Yep, absolutely. And do you have anything else?
Like I said, we got Wizard Trees and Preferred. You know, Blueprint and Made have already hit the shelves. Packwoods, of course, has been out for a while now. And then we have Doja coming out later in early 2024.
That's what's up.
Green Dog. Just very excited to be working with all these brands.
I know Green Dog. Okay, I just saw like my brain just did the flash of their Instagram, whatever the hell, like profile pic that I've seen before. I'm like, and there it is.
But yeah, make sure to check out all the Project Packs brands that are going out. Thank you, everybody, for the support. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming. What we have next for us on the promo is Mr. Boofman and LA Devils Lettuce. We're going to go ahead and talk a little more about maybe a little collab on something.
Yes, sir.
A little bit. But thank you again for coming out. Make sure you tap in, smoke up, trip out. Love you all. Deuces. We're out.